Hi, Sarah. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm great.
Happy Thursday.
Indeed, there is a lot going on in these markets. These days and times are exciting.
Yes, very much so.
So, first, thank you for taking the time to be with me today.
Thank you for having us.
Our topic, strategies for networking and building relationships in the industry. I know you're an expert on this topic, which is why I wanted to have you here. And so let's dive in.
Fantastic. Yeah. Um, so, really, networking is such an integral part of success, especially when you're trying to get into the industry. We have quite a few people looking to get into the industry, but it really is to cultivate relationships, right? There's so many opportunities come from that. Not only are you networking and meeting people, but you're really gaining insight in the industry and staying up to date, which is so crucial in an industry like this where things change what feels like overnight. um, so really staying connected and staying out there really helps. People ask generally like what is the value in networking, and in a nutshell, it really is job opportunities, right? Networking can help you find job opportunities that aren't necessarily posted on your average or your typical job board. Industry insights, right? Just staying up to date with the trends just makes you more marketable. Um, Being able to attend industry events gives you the opportunity to meet people that you would have probably not met before. And there is that in person contact and communication that really adds value to solidify the relationship as well. And then, really, referrals and recommendations. When you communicate and find the right people to network with, there's always a friend of a friend who knows a friend that can definitely help you in your job search as well. And lastly, and most importantly, is just professional development in this area. You can connect with mentors, such a huge part, right? We're all learning and finding a mentor and connecting with peers that can help you in your skill set. There's always ways to improve your skill set, and seeing what everyone else is doing out there, and networking really helps with that piece too.
Thanks for those playbook points. I want to touch on a few of those,
Yeah.
especially because you first talked about how the space has grown, how it's evolved very quickly. And so, for talent trying to break into the industry, I think it's somewhat much more daunting than it was a few years back when it
Sure.
was just crypto. Now you have NFTs, you've got DeFi, you've got various protocols and chains that are established. You've got level one, level two. There's a lot more jargon, and so I think the first thing is to educate yourself as much as you can on your own because we are all still learning this space. If you think about it, white paper 2009,
Yes.
no one's an expert, and even, one would say kind of the benevolent dictator V at Ethereum would say learning every day, still picking up and observing, and then coming upon these kind of aha moments. So that's one, which is pick up as much as you can on your own. But then to your point, networking, involving yourselves in this space, which is much more about community than TradFi, for example, in terms of Discord, Telegram. There are
Yes.
entire communities and quote protocols that are effectively built on a chat.
Yes.
That is not the case as you think about traditional finance or many other industries. And so can you talk about upskilling yourself in terms of certifications you've heard that have been fruitful or helpful, or does it even matter? Can you just pick one and go?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me touch base on social media first, right? So you've mentioned Discord, great online community to be able to connect with folks and really discuss. It's a great way to contribute, right? It's a great community, especially for software engineers, right? But you have everyone from investors to founders that are sharing. It's a great place to communicate. Twitter also is a very great place to just hang out and meet people. They have Twitter Spaces where you can learn and listen and really help yourself and hear what others are saying. So that's a great way to help yourself there too. And then to really answer the second question of certifications, right? There are some you can get to, if you look online, there are some places where you can get certifications. Risk is a huge one right now, and a company called OnChain does focus on risk certifications as well. But they are out there, and yes, what those do, right? Yes, you can do a lot of that. You can receive a lot of that education on your own. But where it really sets you aside is on the recruiting piece. It really gives you that little extra oomph, I'd like to call it, right? When we're going through through LinkedIn profiles or we're looking at a resume. Certifications are something that really would set you aside from your competition. It really gives you, wow, this person has this certification versus the other. And in a competitive market like we are right now, sometimes that might be the one resume that they pick, right? So you really want to help yourself and stand out, especially in this market. And then just your own, you nailed it, your own personal advancement and learning. Again, if things are changing constantly, so being able to reach out to your peers, learning from them, as well as doing your own research, will definitely help you as well to stay connected.
Thanks for calling in that last acronym. So Dior is one I throw around often, which is do your own research. And,
Yeah.
and often you have to, whether it's you're investing as well as seeking the next job opportunity.
Yeah,
As
absolutely.
when
Absolutely. And really, it boils down to, I love to add this as well, right? People ask, well, where do I start? Web3, it's so like, there's so many different aspects, like you mentioned, NFTs and DeFi, and you really have to go with what speaks to you. Right? Which area you can have, if you have a specific skill set, so let's say finance, right? But how do I know which one to go into? My advice would be to go, what speaks to you? What are you passionate about? Maybe you're passionate about gaming, right? So maybe it would make sense to tailor your career into the gaming Web3 GameFi, area. Maybe you're personally passionate about NFTs and you love NFTs. So maybe that would be an area you're most likely to succeed doing something that you love doing, right? And you're passionate about. So that would be my advice on how, or maybe what direction to go in, especially if you're in finance, like pick something that you enjoy.
I think that's a lifelong lesson as in addition to one for looking for employment. Shifting gears slightly, can you demystify for the audience? We often see companies letting go workers, but then hiring and having positions open in the same week, in the same breath. Can you talk about what you see in the market where some folks would otherwise think not to apply at various roles because they've seen a headline? Can you talk about this?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So one, I want to give, there are certain companies, right, where the job responsibilities may change, but the title doesn't, right? So take, for example, we might have a software engineer and they may have let go of a division or a program, right? But now they're shifting gears into a different one, but the title did not change, of software engineers, right? So it's really digging, and it might be a different tech stack. So really digging into the job description, right? They may just be shifting their focus into a different area. So really reading those job descriptions. The current state of the market, right? There are jobs available out there. It's just shifting gears a little bit in different areas. And it's really, how do we adapt, right? So if we're not an expert in this area, we're not well versed in this area, how can we get well versed in this new area that they're looking for in the company, right? And make yourself more marketable. And they may hire you back, right? Because you're leaving on good terms, hopefully. Right? And if not, it's opening more areas of opportunity. For every door that closes, there's always a new one that it opens a new door for something else.
That's great to hear. So I wanted to touch on another point you first started on, which is your network
Yes.
and the power of that network. For those who, let's say, are very fresh to the industry and
Mm-hmm.
don't have a network, can you talk about best practices to meet someone in that sector that you like, or as you're gaining in knowledge? And that's one part. The second part is, can you talk about the power of referrals and how that introduction, that initial meetup, kind of magnifies itself when you apply for a job at the company that person works for example?
Sure, absolutely. I like to call that like personal branding, right? How do you want to be, how would you like to be remembered? And really having that first impression, especially in networking, right? You want to be courteous, you want to be, and really going into any conversation with not only thinking, how is this person going to be valuable to me, but how am I going to be of value to this person as well? Especially in this industry, it's what can you do for me and what can I do for you? It's not just a take. And really going into any conversation, right, or building just relationships in general, you want to have that mindset going into it. So power of referrals, right? It really is. Don't be afraid to ask, right? When you're building relationships, don't be afraid to ask, hey, do you know somebody who might be looking? Don't be afraid to ask those questions, right? Based on our conversation, do you see, would I be a fit for someone that maybe you're connected to? Or just a simple, keep me in mind if you know of anyone who is looking. So just being able to throw those in there to help you with referrals, that always helps.
That's a great answer. I know when I was at Amazon, the power of referrals was such that we estimated a referral was 3 times as likely to get to the interview. Now, it didn't guarantee you a job, but
Yes.
it guaranteed you that someone would, on the back of that warm intro, at least try to understand, is your resume a fit for this job description?
Yeah.
Or can we have a conversation? If you're not a fit for this job, maybe something else. Or I know of another company that you'd be a fit for. And so that power is really a multiplier. Can you talk about, in general, playbook points as it comes to when candidates approach the crypto recruiter? What are some of the things people do well and then not so well?
Absolutely, yes. So again, it's being courteous, right, and being mindful of people's time. Um, don't, and especially on the recruiting side, right? If you're approaching a company or a recruiter, it's great to follow up. But don't be discouraged if you don't get an answer within a couple of hours. Be patient. follow up within, if you don't hear within a couple of days, absolutely reach back out, but continue to be courteous to the process, because there are, everybody has, their own schedules. So just be mindful of people's time and be respectful. I think that's the biggest case. There could be some frustrations out there, right? Based on the current job market, there are quite a few people, but we are your friends. Recruiters are your friends. We're here to help. So that's important. I'd love to touch a little bit on how we can network, right? Especially on the recruiting side, and what we look for, particularly LinkedIn. Your LinkedIn profile really is so powerful. It is the first thing recruiters see. The content in it is fantastic. It should be very eye-catching and just straight and to the point. If anyone needs any type of advice or would like any type of resume review, we can help you at the Crypto Recruiters. You can reach us at thecryptorecruiters.io. We have a great little family there that can help you. But really, that's what we look for yourself, for your own connections and networking. On LinkedIn, you can simply type Web3 or keywords like crypto or blockchain, and it will pull up people who are in the industry, and you can start connecting there and networking there. So that's a great start professionally.
So I am live typing crypto. I'm based in Miami. And so I'm just curious who shows up. Crypto Miami. I'm clicking on people. 409 results.
Hello, friends.
In Miami. Yes. And if I type in Web3 Miami, 95 results. So I assume there's some intersection there, but to your point, that's 500 folks within Miami. And I won't even talk about New York or San Fran or Austin or other places.
Yes.
So that resource, to your point, and I've demonstrated live, it's available for folks. Connect, see what events are happening, see who's a mutual connection, and that warm intro might be closer than you think.
Absolutely. So I love that. And yes, nationwide, connecting across the globe, right? It's really fun to meet people everywhere.
Excellent. Well, Sarah, I want to thank you for your time. Unless you have any last points for this audience, we can conclude.
Thank you so much, Shante. I just want to share with everyone, right? Web3, regardless of what you hear on the news, it is expanding. So many people are building. There's some really exciting, new, innovative opportunities out there. So please take the advice, hopefully, that we've given you. Go after what you're passionate about. And if you need our help, we're here to help you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.